Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
We're wrapping up a fantastic Friday with one of the warmest temperatures this week, but today's high will be colder than every single high temperature next week. We'll track the warmth on the way coming up.
Governor Whitmer's travels to see her father under scrutiny again. What she said in a podcast and what her office is saying today.
Okay, Grant, but we begin with breaking news just moments ago. The CDC's advisory panel voted to lift the pause on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine and recommend its use in those over the age of 18.
The vote 10 in favor, 4 against with 1 abstention. The outside panel of experts said the benefits of the single-dose vaccine in preventing COVID-19 infections and deaths clearly outweighs the risk. But some wanted additional guidance provided to people who will be getting the vaccine.
The FDA will now include a warning statement with the emergency use authorization detailing the risk of rare blood clots, particularly in women under the age of 50.
Panel met for 6 hours this afternoon and revealed new information about the risks, especially in younger women. Out of the nearly 8 million doses given, there have been 15 confirmed cases of the rare blood clots, including 3 deaths. 7 people remain hospitalized. All of the cases have been in women, but the CDC stressed that doesn't mean there's no risk for men.
There could be cases that simply weren't reported, and there could be cases that become apparent later on that just have not appeared. But as of now, we had 0 cases in males.
The symptoms of these rare blood clots develop 6 to 15 days after receiving the vaccine.
These initial symptoms are fairly vague and nonspecific, mainly headache. But importantly, the headaches for these started 6 or more days after vaccination.
None of the patients had a previous history of blood clotting disorders. 7 were obese. 2 were using oral contraceptives. The highest risk was in women aged 30 to 39. In that age group, the risk was 11.8 cases per million. But the manufacturer of the J&J vaccine stressed there are unique benefits to having a single-dose vaccine that can be stored at refrigerator temperatures. Again, this decision just coming out now, announced here within the last 5 minutes or so. But the CDC also stressed during the meeting that none of these rare blood clots have been detected in association with the Pfizer or Moderna vaccines. So more on this J&J decision ahead at 6 o'clock and also on NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. Now, let's get to breaking news happening in New Boston.
That's where a police manhunt connected to an apparent road rage shooting earlier today on I-94 is underway. Let's get to Mara McDonald. And Mara, police have made contact with the suspect, right?
Well, Kimberly, let me emphasize right now that all the information we have is preliminary and this situation is fluid. That's because where I'm standing right now at this gray house location that you see is surrounded by MSP. They just allowed us to move up here. I'd say for the last hour and a half, MSP has had this entire area blocked off to traffic. We could not get in here. You couldn't see anything. Let me take you back to the beginning. This started as a road rage shooting on I-94 and Belleville. Nobody was hit, but a car was, severely shot up. Fast forward to here in New Boston. They believe they tracked the shooter in that road rage situation here to this location in New Boston. Now, we have heard no gunshots. We have heard no nothing. Neighbors say they didn't see anybody come out of this home. What we have heard repeatedly over a loudspeaker is MSP saying, "Come out, you are surrounded. Come out, you are surrounded." So whatever the situation was, I won't call it a standoff because we simply don't know. It is over here for the moment. We know that MSP is interviewing multiple people who were in and around this area, but whether they actually have the person they believe responsible for that shooting in custody right now simply is not clear. We're live in New Boston. I'm Mara McDonald. Back to you.
Mara will be back to you shortly as soon as developments warrant. Other news at this hour, the state says today's coronavirus numbers have been delayed due to a technical issue, so we will get those to you just as soon as they come out. But here's a look at the vaccine numbers and this troubling gap. 8.3 million doses have been distributed to Michigan. 6.2 million doses have been administered. So 2 million doses, more than 2 million doses that we have that so far, Kim, we've been talking about demand starting to dip below supply.
There it is right there, right in front of your screen. So today we got our first look at what could be the next steps in getting shots into arms. It's a mobile vaccine clinic on wheels, and one could soon be headed to your neighborhood. Our Larry Spruill is there live today as it made its first stop in Berkeley.
The mobile clinic says they want to reach the people right here in the neighborhood. Now, the concept is real simple. You can either pull up or walk up, park your car here in this parking lot, and get the vaccination shot. As you can see, a lot of people are already taking advantage of this opportunity. Friday, this parking lot here in Berkeley transformed into a mobile vaccination clinic, many taking advantage of getting the Moderna vaccine right in their own neighborhood. Carla Santiago Leroy says getting the vaccine was personal for her.
I have an 8-week-old and I'm breastfeeding, and we did a lot of research into it, and it's one of the ways of getting the antibodies into the baby.
But she tells me she had her doubts.
It was hard to make the decision at first. The vaccine hasn't been out for that long. It wasn't tested for that long. So, you had that hesitation of, what will be the long-term effects.
So I think there's an implicit trust in the idea that if we are doing it, then maybe it's okay. Leah Luger, the executive director with Yad Ezra, a local kosher food pantry here in Berkeley, says she knows people are hesitant. That's why they teamed up with Wayne Health's mobile unit, which is a part of Wayne State University, and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan to bring the vaccine to people. The concept is simple. You can walk or drive up, roll down your window, and get the shot right then and there. So the idea of having a vaccine pop-up clinic here, I thought might be a way to sway some people who were reluctant or hesitant about getting the vaccine because they know and trust us. Meanwhile, Carla says having that accessibility made the whole process easy and worth it.
It just made sense for our family to do everything that we could to protect ourselves and protect the people around us.
And the clinic says they will get their second dose on May 21st. Reporting in Berkeley, Larry Spruill, Local 4.
Hey, Larry, and there's now an even easier way to get help from Local 4's resident vaccine hunter, Ken Haddad. Simply text the word vaccine to 313-395-1255, and Ken will do his best to try to find you an appointment in Michigan for the vaccine. And be sure to check out Ken's live blog at clickondetroit.com, where he's continuously posting about clinics and appointments as they pop up.
We have made it to Friday with the sun shining at the moment.
But it isn't going to stay that way for the entire weekend, unfortunately. So let's get over to Ben with a look at what we've got coming here.
Hi, guys. Yeah, you are correct. The rest of tonight's going to be great. So if you've got outdoor plans tonight, you're in the clear. Tomorrow, a little bit more dicey. There's activity on the radar right now, but all the stuff we're expecting for Saturday is coming out of the south, and the core of this wet weather will stay south of us. We're going to be on the northern fringe of this. This is very similar to the setup that we saw with snow. Not everybody is going to get wet on Saturday, but a good dose of us will, and we'll talk timing on that coming up. So here's the rest of the evening. Expect temperatures in the 50s, and we will see plenty of sunshine until that sun goes down. There are clouds out there, but it's sort of weaving its way around what is showing up. Showers do return tomorrow, but they don't stick around for Sunday, so we'll check that out. 80 looks achievable. That's the best way we can describe next week, and we could be getting some thunder with the warmth. But outside of that 80, there's a lot more warm temperatures to look at, all in the 7-day forecast in a few minutes. Guys?
Okay, Ben. Tonight, critics are calling out Governor Gretchen Whitmer for being a little less than truthful when asked if she traveled anywhere following her trip to Florida to visit her father.
Comments came during a recent podcast interview when asked if she did anything for spring break. Grant Herms live tonight with what was said. Grant?
Well, the governor was asked where she would have gone had she gone on spring break, and she said her last real vacation was after a state trip to Israel back in 2019. But critics are saying she purposefully omitted those 3 trips that we know about, all while the state was recommending that people not travel during the pandemic. The governor's personal trip to visit her sick father raising questions again after critics pointed to a recent interview on the Michigan Information and Research Service podcast, which aired last Monday.
If you could go anywhere for spring break, where would you have gone?
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
I haven't really thought about it. My first big trip as governor, and the last trip I've taken was to Israel.
Republicans say the governor purposefully left out 3 trips she's taken in the last 6 months in her answer. Her office disagrees. Governor Whitmer flew to Israel in November of 2019, a trip with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, and then afterwards took some family time on vacation in the Middle Eastern country. A spokesperson for the governor noting the question was about vacation time, not personal family time like her trip to visit her chronically ill father. And that trip has come under scrutiny as one of 3 the governor has taken out of state, 2 to Washington for the inauguration and to visit National Guard troops. The third was to visit her father. The governor's spokesperson pointed Local 4 to their recent statement about the trip, saying in part, the governor did not go on spring break and she has not left the state in over a month, adding all trips were very brief, 2 days or less, closely followed public health guidelines, and were made when Michigan's daily positivity rate was in the low single digits. And the governor's office said that her father is fully vaccinated, and Devin, no state funds were spent on that visit.
The governor, though, Grant, also talked about one of her staff members who took a trip to Florida at that time for a vacation.
Yeah, in that podcast, she actually held up that staffer sort of as a way to show people how to safely travel while they're fully vaccinated. That aide was fully vaccinated. She said a similar thing to me at about the same time in another interview, saying that the CDC guidelines do allow people to travel, and that Michigan does not have a travel ban right now.
All right, Grant. A group in Highland Park is working to make the future a lot brighter.
New tonight, how they plan to get a new type of street light back into their neighborhoods.
The DEA and Detroit police hope it'll have a bigger impact than most drug busts. What's happening tomorrow that aims to keep dangerous medications from getting to the streets? Here's Priya.
Halfway around the world, families in Metro Detroit are grieving as COVID cases surge in India.
She was a beautiful soul that should have never gone so soon.
How a second wave is crippling India's medical system.